All right, let's dive into a really fascinating puzzle, one that a lot of us have probably wrestled with. How on earth does our brain make sense of modern art? You know, the kind of art that can feel like it's designed to be confusing. Well, it turns out your brain isn't just looking at the art, it's actually helping to create its meaning.
You know that feeling, right? You're in a museum, you walk up to this big, famous abstract painting, and you're standing there thinking, I don't get it. You might feel a little lost, maybe even a bit silly. Hey, it's a super common experience.
I mean, think about a Mark Rothko painting, just huge blocks of color. Or Jackson Pollock, with all those chaotic drips and splatters. They can be really baffling because, well, there's no clear picture of a person or a house or a tree. It just leaves you asking, what am I even supposed to be looking at here?
Okay, so the answer to this riddle comes from a place you might not expect. We're not talking about an art critic here. We're talking about a Nobel Prize-winning neuroscientist who gives us a pretty incredible explanation for this exact feeling.
This is Eric Kandel. He's a giant in the world of neuroscience, still working at Columbia University. Back in 2000, he won the Nobel Prize for his amazing research on how memory actually works at a molecular level. And here's the kicker. He figured it all out by studying sea slugs. Seriously. He uncovered some of the deepest secrets of human memory by looking at these giant sea snails. How cool is that?
So in his book, Reductionism in Art and Brain Science, Kandel set this really ambitious goal for himself. He wanted to use what he knew about the brain to connect the world of science with the world of art, to basically explain what's physically happening inside our heads when we look at something and feel awe or confusion or just pure beauty.
And according to Kandel, our brain has these two essential toolkits that it uses to process, well, everything it sees. And understanding these two kits, that's the secret to solving the whole mystery of abstract art. All right, first up, you've got bottom-up processing. Think of this as purely data-driven. Your eyes are just collecting the raw info, lines, colors, shapes, and sending it up to your brain. It's a passive thing. But then you've got top-down processing. This is the active part. This is your brain jumping in, taking all that raw data and asking, okay, what is this? It digs through all your memories, your past experiences, everything you know to try and make sense of it all.
Here's a super simple way to think about it. Imagine you hear a weird noise in the middle of the night. The bottom-up process is just your ears registering the sound waves. That's it. But the top-down process is your brain immediately kicking into gear, thinking, wait, was that the wind? A branch hitting the window? Do I recognize that sound? See, it's actively trying to solve the puzzle.
So how does this whole two-part system bring us back to the art gallery? How does it explain what happens when we're staring at that confusing painting? Well, this is where a brilliant idea called the beholder's share comes into play. Think about it. When you look at a realistic painting, say a portrait, your brain gets a ton of clear, easy bottom-up information. It sees a nose, eyes, a mouth, it's all there. But abstract art, it's what you might call information poor. It doesn't give you those easy clues. And because of that, it literally forces your brain to switch into a higher gear. It has to rely almost completely on top-down processing to fill in the blanks and search for some kind of meaning. And that mental work your brain is forced to do is what Kandel calls the beholder's share. He borrowed the term from an art historian, but he gives it this neuroscience twist. It means that you, the viewer, you're not just a passive spectator. Your brain is an active partner in this. It has a share in the creative act itself. This is huge. It means you are a co-creator. The art isn't just what's hanging on the wall, it's the unique thing that happens when the artist's creation meets your brain's interpretation, your memories, your feelings, your life experiences. It's why two people can look at the exact same painting and have completely different reactions. Everyone's beholder share is totally unique. Okay, now hold on, because this is where the whole idea just explodes into something even bigger. It turns out that this exact same brain process, this active, top-down hunt for meaning, has been harnessed for something totally different, way outside the art world. Yep, that same neurological engine is the secret sauce behind a really powerful method for innovation and strategy called Lego Serious Play. And yes, we are talking about the very same Lego bricks we all grew up with. So here's how it works in a nutshell. A facilitator asks a really complex question, something like, what does the future of our company look like? Then everyone builds these little 3D models with Lego bricks to represent their answer. The models themselves are abstract, they're ambiguous, so people have to use their top-down processing to create a story, to attach meaning to what they built. It makes their hidden ideas visible and easy to share with the group.
When you put them side by side, the parallel is just, wow, it's incredible. In both situations, you start with an ambiguous thing, a canvas or a pile of bricks, and that thing triggers the exact same active, top-down, meaning-making process in your brain. The outcome might be different. You get personal insight from art and shared strategy from the workshop, but the core brain magic is exactly the same.
So, let's bring this all home. What's the big idea we should walk away with here? Honestly, it's a completely different way of thinking about how your own mind works.
What this all means is your brain is not just a camera passively recording whatever's in front of you. No, it's an active storyteller, constantly building meaning out of the world. And looking at abstract art? That's like taking your brain to the gym for a creative workout. That feeling, that story you create, that's your beholder's share. And the most amazing part is that the same creative muscle is what we use to solve some of the most complex, real-world problems we face.
So let's end with this thought. The next time you find yourself standing in front of one of those paintings, feeling that familiar sense of, I don't get it, just pause for a second and ask yourself, what if the confusion isn't a failure? What if not getting it is actually the whole point? What if it's an open invitation from the artist directly to your brain to step up and be a co-creator?